on Ctv3 News. Derek Bull, the man accused of fatally shooting his son-in-law, is charged for murder and aggravated assault. Minister of Health Kevin Bernard speaks on the death of Jesus Sakol and the civilian outburst at the NRH that followed. Two-day reading intervention training program takes place in the north, and we take you to the Orange Walk People's Stadium where the Orange Walk Central Annual Summer Camp takes place. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, August 3rd, 2023.
Me encuentro recluida porque fui acusada de inhumación, exhumación de cadáveres, profanación de cadáveres y homicidio de 13 personas.
Ellos decían que era santería, nosotros decíamos que era satanería.
Yo nunca me imaginé que a mí me iban a aventar todo lo de Adolfo.
Quien jefaturaba y quien ordenaba y quien tenía el poder y el peso de decisión pues era Sara.
When we were elected in 2021, we were determined to work hard for the benefit of the people. In just 2.5 years, we have accomplished a lot. Amongst many of our accomplishments, we are proud to say that we have acquired the most vehicles and machinery ever acquired by any council in just a short time. Under the leadership of Mayor Ladrick Shepherd, your Orange Walk Town Council has acquired a grader, a backhoe, a garbage compactor truck, a water truck, 2 brand new utility Kias, and a brand new patrol pickup for the traffic department. With this equipment, we're able to do a lot more. We remain committed to continue working together because only together progress continues.
Good evening. With your news, I'm simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. The death of 20-year-old Jesus Sakol caused outrage on Monday night. After his family and friends were informed of his passing while in the X-ray room of the Northern Regional Hospital, a protest ensued at the hospital's main entrance. Videos captured at the scene showed disgruntled residents hurling rocks and pints at officers and even at employees of the hospital. Luckily, no one got hurt, but there were damages to the fence of the hospital, says Minister of Health Kevin Bernard.
What happened at the hospital was very uncalled for, and I will publicly say that. While emotions were high, and I offer my condolences to the family of the young man that passed away. Unfortunately, that happened, but it did not give them any right to go on. And one, we had damages to the hospital fence. People were hurling rocks and bottles at our employees at the hospital. These people are innocently there working. They had nothing to do with whatever incident happened. Now I understand that the same night people were a bit up and as you know, emotions were flying. They were complaining that the ambulance took a while. Let me give some information that I have on that. That when the ambulance, the driver of the ambulance got the request, he has to go to emergency. He has to wait for a nurse from emergency because a driver of an ambulance cannot just go on his own. He has to be accompanied by a nurse. And there were some delays there. And so we are trying to find how we can fix that problem. But I also understand that they were given the wrong location. So they were out but looking at the wrong at somewhere else. And so that caused a bit of delay and frustration. But as I said, whatever happened with the police and these young men escalated into an issue that shouldn't have been. And I think that as citizens, we need to understand that while we cannot make two wrong a right, we have to ensure that we calmly do things and responsibly do things. But yes, I think that those who did it and those who were part of that process, I think were wrong. It shouldn't have been, because we could have put our people at risk. Our security officers that were there were felt threatened. The nurses that are at the front gate also felt threatened. And so I think we really won't want to see this happen again. But at the end of the day, I really want to make a plea to our citizens. Let us solve things calmly. And
As it relates to Sakul's death, Bernard says it is unfortunate and a full investigation must be called for. On his behalf, he has confirmed that all protocols were followed at the hospital as soon as both injured men arrived at the hospital.
I think it's very unfortunate to the level we were seeing in the past incident that happened with the young man that died, and now with this scenario. Now, I don't know the full details in terms of who is at fault, but I think that sometimes we need to take there are two things. If you are being perpetrated by the police, man, stop, find out what is happening. If you're not doing anything wrong, then the police will be able to better understand. At the same time, the police need to also do things the right way, because this is what causes problems. You are pursuing somebody, man. There's many ways you could cut somebody. You have the license plate. You could always go back and find out who is the owner of that transportation. And there's other means to arrest persons. Now there have been an outcry of citizens as well, who have been saying that there have been a lot of these young motorcyclists making a lot of noise in the neighborhoods, and I know that I get constant calls from people in the East constituency where sometimes they gather on the Liberty Avenue late hours of the night, and it's a disturbance to the peace of people who want to sleep and have a tranquil moment at their own home. So I make a plea to these young people. I understand we have little motorcycle clubs here and there, but again, don't do that in a town. There are places where you can go and do these type of things. But I want again to please us, our citizens, to let us ensure that Orange Walk can continue to be that harmonious place that people work together, talk to each other, and respect each other. And you have to respect the rule of law. At the same time, the law must also respect the citizens' rights.
As mentioned, Sakul was driving a motorcycle with Jairo Guerra, 19 years of age, when police saw them coming out of a known drug area on the Belize Corozal Road in Orange Walk Town. Police alerted the men to stop by turning on the siren, but instead the cycle sped off and a high-speed chase initiated. Police would catch up with the motorcycle, and according to eyewitnesses, the police mobile hit the back of the cycle, causing a collision. On the other hand, the officers involved are saying Sakul, who was driving the cycle, collided into them. Police say they chased the men because the passenger had what appeared to be a weapon that was thrown on the side of the highway. After the collision, police returned to the area and in their report stated they found a 9mm pistol. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams later clarified that what officers found was a pellet gun. And then yesterday, the media received a photograph of that gun. The photo shows a battered piece of what can be coined as a scrap metal weapon, or the remnants of what is considered a recreational sports air pistol. Up to news time, there is no word if charges will be levied upon any of the officers involved in the chase that ended fatal and has left Guerra suffering from a number of injuries. In our Tuesday's newscast, we brought you the shocking story of a father-in-law that fatally shot his son-in-law in Guinea Grass Village. It happened on Saturday, and it has left two families distressed and broken. What was to be a peaceful evening turned into chaos when, after purchasing burritos, 19-year-old Jael Darrell Jimenez got into a physical altercation with his common-law wife, Brianne Bull. As a result, Bull's older sister called their father. Soon after, the father, 40-year-old Derek Bull, arrived at the residence of his daughter, pulled out his licensed shotgun, and fired one single shot that perforated the pectoral area of Jael Jimenez. He died almost immediately. Derek Bull went into hiding right after, but handed himself over to police on Tuesday afternoon in the company of his lawyer, Richard Dickey Bradley. More than 48 hours after, Derek Bull has been charged for the crime of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault upon Andy Jimenez and Irene Jimenez, the brother and mother of the deceased. Since the Orange Walk magistrate is attending a conference, Bull was arraigned today in the Belize City Magistrates Court. His attorney, Dickie Bradley, spoke to the media after the arraignment.
This is a sad day for everybody, as you would know. Another family is grieving the loss of a son and a brother, and this family is bewildered over how what is an issue of domestic violence turned out so sadly, no? The charge is that he intentionally went there and shot the person, but that is not the evidence that is available. This is just a really sad situation all around. So the magistrate Dennison explained the court procedures and the legal procedures to him. He was not called upon to plead guilty or not guilty because this is an indictable matter where the jurisdiction lies in what used to be called the Supreme Court, the High Court, the Senior Court. And he is remanded until October, the 26th day of October, when he will be taken to the Orange Walk Magistrate Court for a further adjournment and for several adjournments until disclosure is available, until a preliminary inquiry is held, and until the matter is sent up to the High Court.
Police in Corozal have been able to remove a high-powered rifle and ammunition from the streets. According to official reports, searches were conducted on a farm in the community of Shaibe in the Corozal district on Wednesday, August 2nd, which resulted in the discovery of an AK-47 rifle and a magazine containing 17 rounds of 7.62 ammunition. No one was found in the area at the time of the discovery, and the items were labeled as found property. It is important to note that there have been several shooting incidents reported in the Corozal district in recent weeks where high-powered weapons have been utilized. The most recent was a shooting incident in Chanchen last week where Sergio Hall Sr. was shot to the arm. In that incident, police recovered 15 7.62 caliber expended shells, along with 5.2223 caliber expended shell and 2 5.56 shells, all of which are for high-powered rifles. For more than 20 years, Orange Walk Central Area Representative and now Prime Minister of Belize, the Honorable John Bresenio, and his executive have been organizing the annual Orange Walk Central Summer Camp, and this year it was no different. The camp kicked off on Tuesday, August 1st, with children between the ages of 8 and 12 years engaged in sporting activities, including basketball, football, karate, and volleyball. In the absence of Prime Minister John Bresenio, who is out of the country on government business, today participants were joined by Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Kevin Bernard, who supports camps such as the one organized by the Orange Walk Central Committee, since it promotes healthy living, positive physical activity, and most importantly, translates to the development of our young people.
From a health perspective, it's very important as well. As you know, we have a lot of people in Belize who are suffering from diabetes, from hypertension, from other chronic and non-communicable diseases. And so part of healthy living is also having a balanced exercise, a balanced life. And so having them involved in this physical activity here today and over the past week is also beneficial to the life and health of these young individuals here. And so I want to encourage people, while these young people that are here participating for this week, let them always engage in some activity, physical activity, whether it is playing basketball, whether it is playing a little football, whether it is running, exercising on at least once a day, a few hours a day. It keeps us healthy, it keeps our mind focused. This also what this does. It also builds and balances your mental stability. It helps the mind to think, it helps the mind to focus. And so I encourage young people, I encourage our citizens on a whole to participate in healthy activities like this. And I really want to commend the people at Orange Rock Central. I want to thank the main sponsors. I know the SMART, as you know, today made a contribution, significant contribution to the summer camp. And I know that this will also take place next week in the San Esteban area. And so I know the Chinese Association here in Orange Rock as well has been a great sponsor in working together with the area representative, the Honorable John Briceño, in ensuring that this was a success here. I must commend the Honorable Prime Minister, who has been committed and faithful to this constituency in making sure that this activity can continue year after year.
The camp ends tomorrow and then moves on to the village of San Esteban, which also falls in the constituency of PM Briceño. Teachers from government primary schools across the Orange Walk and Corozal districts convened at the Escuela Técnica Mexico Junior College Auditorium for a 2-day reading intervention training program facilitated by the Rotary Literacy Alive project. The project, which originated in Canada, was brought to Belize through the collaboration of the Rotary Clubs of Red Deer, Canada, and San Ignacio here in Belize. There is no doubt that the COVID-19 pandemic had tremendous impact on learning in schools in Belize and across the world. This has been identified by government as well as by educators and community members as a significant problem warranting targeted intervention. With this in mind, the 2-day training is focused on providing educators with the tools to help improve reading in a post-pandemic era. Project leader Dr. Lynn Paradis and her team of educational experts from Alberta, Canada, are providing training and support across all 6 districts in Belize with the hope of bridging the divide in literacy and reading created by the COVID-19 pandemic in schools across Belize, like many countries across the world.
We identified the project very early, and early in COVID, millions of dollars were contributed by our provincial Ministry of Education to come up with a program to help teachers deal with post-COVID issues in schools. We didn't even know what they were going to be. They've ended up being far worse and far more extensive than we ever originally thought. And this is true across the globe. So what happened, the University of Alberta has a professor, Dr. George Giorgio, who's devoted his life to reading, to English reading. He's from Cyprus, but he works at the University of Alberta, and he works with many other outstanding world researchers on reading from Australia, from Finland, from various other countries. And it was just lucky that at the end, about the time COVID was at its worst, that his research was completed. And it is all about the most expedient way to teach children reading. And it's a very scientific approach. So what we did is we tested that in Alberta with thousands of students, and we found that if you use this approach to teaching reading, and you were very careful on it, you could improve a child's reading ability by 1.5 school years in 5 months. That is phenomenal research. And so it was tested across our province, and it was highly recommended in every school that it be used. And we have been using it, and with tremendous success. So this program, it's designed to be done in approximately 6 months. It's strictly a phonological awareness and phonics program, and that is the part of reading that children struggle with the most. It's how to decode words. It's taking the mystery out of reading by giving them a toolkit to decode. And it also builds in sight words, which are those words that you can't decode. And it's an aggressive 30 minutes a day. We have all the materials. It shouldn't cost, other than some photocopying, anything. We've aligned it to the resources that already exist in schools here. And I guess our message, because my team, we've been coming for years. We love Belize. We love working with the teachers. We've got a passion for education. We said, why does Belize have to wait when Alberta and Canada is right on the leading edge of the latest research on reading? Why don't you journey with us post-COVID? And that's what we're doing. And I expect to get even better results this year. And then we're hoping all other schools sign on to it.
With all teachers and administrators in government primary schools across the country expected to receive this training, the hope, according to General Manager of Government Primary Schools, Melissa Andrade, is the development of an implementation plan where all Standard 2 and 3 students will receive full class daily instruction in reading improvement in the coming school year.
We needed a tool that we would be able to give our teachers to help them, to help the students to read better at a better rate. We have seen that our literacy rate has decreased, and so we need to help our teachers to help the students. And this program is a program that has been proven to be successful in Canada, and they have been gracious enough to help us and share it with us, and so we want to share it to our teachers. We want to give them the tools that they need to help our students to become better readers, and when they become better readers, they will become better students in the classroom, and we'll have greater success. I believe all our teachers have wanted something or having a sense of how to help our students. But we've had so many programs, and we've had an organization come and only do a particular school. Now we're doing something that would be broad-based, and they are going to have that tool that they need to be able to help their students. So that's the reason why I believe they are going to be accepting of the program. They've wanted something, but they've not been able to identify that tool that they need. And this is the tool that we believe that they need that will help them. Now, we must say that it is something that's going to be progressive. It's not going to be something that we're going to do overnight, right? This is the start of it. This is Year 1. And we're hoping that with the success of Year 1, we can move on to Year 2. And we're hoping that in 3 years, 5 years, we're going to see the result of this success. And the reason we're catering to Standard 2 and Standard 3 is they were the students who were most affected by COVID. They were the ones who were online. They were the ones with packages. So we believe that if we start there, we're going to identify those kids who are most at risk and who were the ones who had less contact time with teachers and had the gap widen. It's a mandatory program, so we're asking everyone to use it. But we're identifying Standard 2 and Standard 3 in particular, but we're encouraging all other standards to use it. Because as we all know, in all levels, we have students who have a learning gap, who are not able to read. And if you're not able to read, you won't learn. So we need to take a step back, make sure they can read, so that when we bring on the competency-based curriculum, we can have success with that.
The project has received the full support from the government of Belize with the hope of having the program implemented across all schools across the country.
We are piloting it in all government schools, right? And given the success in the government schools, then it's going to be given out to the entire country. And we believe that we need to take care of our government schools. Sometimes they're left in the wayside, but we think they are of our priority. And once the pilot program works, then we're going to roll it out to the entire country. So today we're doing North, we have done West, and next week we're going to do South. But it's important for all our teachers, and all teachers are here. So it's not, even though we're catering it to or piloting it towards Standard 2 and Standard 3, we're asking all classes, all Standard Infant 1 up to Standard 6 to be here, because they too can use it. Right? It's a school-wide program. It's not a program just catered to a particular group. So we're asking all teachers to be here, including administrators, because we want to ensure the success of the program. The government side has an important project to take on. We're piloting it, 1. 2, we're providing full support. We've given full support to the Canadian team, and we are empowering our teachers to be able to do it. So it's not that the Canadian team is going to train them, but they're going to be the ones that are carrying it out. And they can too become trainer of trainers in the long term. So we're building capacity as well. It's not necessarily only giving them the toolkit, but building capacity. And so they will have that in a forte to be able to help their students.
The Literacy Alive project is expected to be in Dangraga and Punta Gorda in the coming days. Coming up next, COVID-19. Are the numbers on the rise? We'll tell you. Stay tuned.
Me encuentro recluida porque fui acusada de inhumación, exhumación de cadáveres, profanación de cadáveres y homicidio de 13 personas.
Ellos decían que era santería, nosotros decíamos que era satanería.
Yo nunca me imaginé que a mí me iban a aventar todo lo de Adolfo.
Quien jefaturaba y quien ordenaba y quien tenía el poder y el peso de decisión pues era Sara.
Sign up for Smart's Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
That's another plane, right?
Not exactly.
Don't move.
The COVID-19 virus, it might seem like something of the past, but the reality is that coronavirus infections are slowly ticking up in parts of the country. But there is no need for alarm as the numbers remain, harboring of a possible fall and winter wave. But the numbers remain low for now and are unlikely to reach the horrific heights seen in the past, so the increase in numbers seen at this time is not a concern for the Ministry of Health.
But COVID is a virus. COVID is endemic in country. It's endemic globally. And so we do know that it will continue to spread. The main and common symptoms that people are presenting with are sore throats, headaches, more upper respiratory tract illness. And I just want to make mention that we're not seeing any increase in hospitalization at this time due to COVID-19. So there are fluctuations in the number of cases. In fact, I have the latest information, and it's just showing that mainly the districts of Belize District and Cayo have reported the highest cases with a higher positivity rate than Corozal, Orange Walk, Stan Creek, and Toledo. But again, still not in any numbers that are significantly concerning for us. The number of persons, of course, tested has reduced. So when you look at positivity rate, which is the number of positive cases over the total number of cases tested, we know that if you don't get tested, we wouldn't see significant changes. But obviously, the persons going to be tested are persons who are symptomatic. So it's not anything that we would say that it has become a significant concern for us at this time for any of our 6 districts.
Cases are also creeping up in other parts of the globe, including the U.S. And while the numbers are low here in Belize, can we expect a concerning hike in the future?
We're seeing cases going down slightly over the last Epi Week 31. We've seen a slight drop. And we know that throughout for globally, 5 of the 6 regions for WHO have reported a decline in cases from January to now. And for the region of the Americas, that decline has been significant, about 30%. Yet individually, we do have some countries reporting slightly increased cases, 10% more increased cases, but nothing significant for any particular country in this region at this time.
As you may know, Belize was unable to achieve herd immunity, but that does not mean we don't have immunity in country, says Dr. Melissa Diaz Musa, Director of Public Health Services at the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
As a part of our immunizations now, we have the COVID vaccine. We still do have bivalent COVID vaccines that are to expire soon. So it's just to make that announcement as well, that these vaccines are still available at our health facilities for persons to uptake, because we're seeing the fluctuations and in some districts a slight increase in acute respiratory illnesses. And I'd just like to make mention that since our last genome sequencing in June, we got the last batch, and it continues to show the variant Omicron circulating in the country from the positive cases.
And even though we are no longer in a pandemic, today the Minister of Health told us his ministry remains on the alert.
We have always said COVID is here, COVID is not gone, and COVID is still affecting some in the wider part of the world. Luckily though, we have not seen over the past, and I did get a report last week, which I also shared with our Prime Minister, that we have not been seeing the respiratory issues in the hospitals. And so while we may have had some cases in small sector of the communities in Belize City, for example, it's not as significant as it would seem, because there's not much persons hospitalized. So there are minor cases of COVID. It is there, but it's not that there's alarming numbers. So it's nothing that we must be scared about. But we continue to tell people, if you're having any issues with those symptoms, to wear a mask, to keep home and to protect others. But just to clear the air, that while there have been some cases over the past few weeks, and it is also based on some of the gatherings that have been happening. As you know, you may not even have the symptoms, but you are a asymptomatic person, but you can affect somebody else, and that may have been the cases. But we have not seen a real drastic increase, and there have been some declines, and the statistics shows that we are at the level where it's normalized, and so it's not an alarming issue that we are worried about, but we continue to encourage people to protect themselves and to wear their mask if necessary and wash their hands regularly.
Persons who are experiencing COVID-19 symptoms are asked to avoid going out in the community and evade interaction with those most vulnerable to the virus, including the elderly. From August 1st to the 7th, the world celebrates World Breastfeeding Week. It was first celebrated in 1992, and this year has been for many years. Belize joins in the celebration. This year, the week is being celebrated under the theme Enabling Breastfeeding, Making a Difference for Working Parents. Today, our guest on the Despierta Belize Morning Show spoke about the importance of this year's theme and benefits of breastfeeding.
It's part of our culture, our beliefs, our practices, because if you see other countries, for example, if we go to Europe or USA, they eat the egg, they eat the beans. They don't even, if we tell them this, they're going to get surprised.
They do.
Yes, because they should have a balanced diet. A balanced diet means a variety of fruits, vegetables, staples, proteins from each group. We should not take the beans, the avocado. The avocado has healthy fat that helps with hypertension, diabetes for the moms as well if they do present these chronic diseases.
Right.
But we should consume, there is no problem consuming avocado, the beans, the eggs. The egg is like a natural multivitamin because that's one of the most complete foods that we have naturally. I want to also encourage working parents to breastfeed. Apart from the breastfeeding, we also have the complementary feeding that it starts a part of 6 months. They start with vegetables, with fruits, one by one, not combined, because if any allergies is presented, we will not know which one had the cause. So after the 8 months, then we can start giving some protein such as the eggs, the legumes, the meat, okay, and the eggs and the chicken. So exclusive breastfeeding from 0 to 6 months, that would be a great asset if moms can do that. And also if the associations are seeing this talk show, for them to also have this initiative to be a baby friendly. Premature or newborn 9 months, they still need to breastfeed because the milk is going to be changing as they be growing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
All right. And finally, Nurse DeVille, for how long should we breastfeed our baby?
Okay, we encourage breastfeeding for 6 months, exclusive breastfeeding. No anise, no water. The baby doesn't need, because we already presented the fore milk is to satisfy the thirst, and the hind milk, the yellow milk that comes 10 minutes after is like the food. So the baby is getting satisfied with thirst and food, right? So that's a complete meal for them. 6 months, exclusive breastfeeding and breastfeeding on demand, meaning as much as the baby wants, as often as the baby wants.
All right.
You cannot over breastfeed, and babies will not be obese with breastfeeding.
The goal is to establish a worldwide breastfeeding culture and provide support for breastfeeding moms. For this, the government of Belize plans to implement a law that will guide and foster a healthy breastfeeding environment.
But one of the things that have always been encouraged by the Ministry of Health is to ensure that parents, mothers who have young children are allowed the ability to be able to breastfeed their children. As you know, you want to encourage breastfeeding from a very young age to a certain age within their lifespan. And so if a mother has to leave their home and that child, that connection is not built, because then they don't have the time. And so I think that what we are doing, we're working very closely with as well with the Ministry of Human Development to see if there is a breastfeeding policy that can be put in the workplace to allow mothers with young children to be able to do that, have a specific space that they can have their children, at least if it's once or twice a day, they can take that moment to be able to breastfeed their child. For those who do the breastfeeding, and I think it's very fitting that we start to do that. This is being done across the world, and so Belize must adapt. Belize must also ensure that we are not being left behind, but that we also understand that in order for us to nurture young minds, they need to have that breastfeeding. It is recommended that a young child from the age when he or she is born, that they get onto that breastfeeding program. I believe they want at least 2 to 3 years. And so with that, you build that bond with that parent, you build that bond with that child, and you're also nurturing that child's mind and development. And so for us, it's very important, and I'm happy that it's something that we are looking at very seriously. And I am pretty sure that through Dr. Musa and the team at the ministry, they are working on that policy through the maternal and child health unit as well. Dr. Baer has been very consistent in terms of her push to see that this comes through, and as the minister, I have given them my full support.
The World Health Organization emphasizes the value of breastfeeding for mothers as well as children. Here in Belize, the Ministry of Health and Wellness recommend exclusive breastfeeding for at least 6 months and says women who undergo surgery to have their baby can eat almost anything, contrary to other opinions.
Why is this theme for this year is because most of the parents, after working, after maternity leave, they get back to work, and what happens is that they stop breastfeeding, right? So we are encouraging parents to breastfeed even if they are working. They can do it by pumping out their milk, right? And storing the milk properly so the baby can have this breast milk.
It's the most natural thing to breastfeed. I mean, babies are born to be breastfed. You know, it's not that what happened is that the formula companies, they have done a great job promoting it. Like if it is equal to breastfeeding, and that is not true. Breastfeeding is the best thing for your baby, is the most nutritious thing for your baby. And you know, it's also what it does to your baby's brain, the connection that you have. It goes beyond just providing nutrition. You know, it is providing nutrition, providing this warmth, stimulating the baby meanwhile you're breastfeeding by talking to the baby, touching the baby's feet, you know, having that connection with the baby. It helps to develop the neurons of the baby. Hence, the nutrition, the stimulation makes the baby healthier and smarter. There's not a legislation as such for companies to give this time off. You know, it also depends a lot on the company to be considerate, but they're working on it. They're working on that because it entails considering that this mom, you know, the importance of breastfeeding. We have to look at their understanding why they should give this mom hard time to breastfeed. We're looking also at companies have a little room. It doesn't have to be big. A small room where they can have a fridge so that the mom might have some privacy, so that she can go and express her milk, feel safe, secure, healthy, in a healthy environment where she can express her milk, that she has the knowledge, express her milk, and stores it so that she can take it home. You know, I have a cousin that delivered in February, and she works. She travels every day to about an hour and a half. And I was encouraged her to do the breastfeeding, and she's doing it. She extracts her milk at her business. She's giving the time off, 2 times per the 8 hours, so that she can express her milk and stores it and has enough milk for her baby. So she's doing it. Why is that so important, Kame? Because at the point where you stop expressing your milk, you decrease your milk production. You know, so expressing that milk at work so that you can, it's to provide the milk to the baby, but also not to decrease the production of your milk.
So if you are a mother, keep on breastfeeding, as it is the best practice not only for you but also for your baby. Over 100 children from Corozal town and surrounding areas today completed a month-long edu-boost summer camp hosted by the Plan Corozal in collaboration with the Corozal Town Council and local educators. The program, which focused on areas of math, science, and literacy, sought to engage students from ages 5 to 11 in educational content in a fun and creative way. To culminate the 4-week-long program, today the students were treated to a special closing ceremony where stakeholders came together to celebrate the great achievement of students in the first ever edu-boost camp.
Today it comes to an end, but today also we had special guests with us. We had Mr. N. Rivera from Oceana, who wanted to give a presentation in teaching the kids about saving the environment, right? And then we have Mr. Agas, who comes from NCFC, who also came to give a talk to the students about children's rights, which is very important for us also. Now, so we basically cover a lot of different things today, very important day. Unfortunately, everything good has to come to an end. But I'm proud to say that, you know what, I was part of this initiative, and I'm happy that we had a good attendance through the course of the summer camp. And it's something that we intend to keep up annually, you know, and hopefully we can attract more students at some point also. But it's a good gesture, and I believe that it goes a long way. I know the parents also will be will appreciate it very much, you know, having their kids during the course of a period and having them learn again or going through another school period of learning what they probably miss and preparing them also for the new school year. You know, so it was well attended.
Unlike many summer programs which focus on areas of sports and arts, founder of Plan Corozal, Thea Garcia Ramirez, says the idea behind the first annual edu-boost camp was to engage students in meaningful practices.
We're here to just acknowledge the wonderful job that the children have been doing, trying to get up to date with their schoolwork, having fun, but at the same time making sure that the skills that they learn during the school year are reinforced, and so they're in a better place when school starts. I also want to take the time out to thank the wonderful teachers that have been out there and giving of their time for free. The collaboration was, of course, with the Corozal Town Council. That, you know, together it's a collaborative effort. I believe in collaboration. I believe that when we partner, we can get so many things done and so much more done. And so it was a pleasure to once again work with the Corozal Town Council, with the mayor and his councillors, to ensure that it's about 100 children that have been out here for 4 weeks, 3 times a week, and they have really put all their effort. Like I said, all the teachers have put in a tremendous effort and given of their free time. There's still some planning involved for lessons. We try to make sure that the children came in and they didn't need to bring anything. A lot of times the barrier is that little fee that is charged, or the fact that they don't have all the materials. And we made sure that all the children had all their work, their handouts, from coloring books to markers to pencils to whatever it is that they needed for the lesson, that was provided to them, and to make sure that it was fun, it was interesting, but also made sure that the skills were reinforced.
An important aspect of the summer camp, according to Garcia Ramirez, was also to ensure that participants were able to access the program completely free of cost.
I'm a mom. I'm a mom of 3, and that's basically where my interest came in, seeing that the pandemic did have a negative effect on the education of a lot of children, particularly those that don't have access to devices, that fall right into the digital divide, as we call it. There's no access to internet, there's no access to devices. A lot of families in Corozal are still struggling to put food on the table. And so it becomes a matter of a mother like myself trying to decide whether or not she's going to buy food or she's going to pay for school, an education and educational materials that the child needs. And I don't think that should be a decision that any mother should have to make. And so we're trying to do our part at Plan Corozal to give of ourselves and to give a little bit back to the community. And in this way, what better way than during the summer to give children an opportunity to learn in a safe environment with qualified teachers, because all the teachers here are licensed teachers, and to make it fun and interesting. Learning should be fun and interesting.
For local educator Dylan Casanova, who along with a host of other teachers donated their time to the program, his hope was simply to inspire students through education.
The summer camp was a 4-week period. It was from Tuesdays to Thursdays from 1 to 3 p.m. We came together as a group of teachers to offer math, language arts, and a little bit of sports and art, and a section of reading for the students that mostly need it in our community. We had a total of 150 students signing up for this program. We had students that were unable to pronounce, for example, is. We have the students walking out of a summer camp saying basically what is. So we are proud as teachers today as we culminate our summer camp. We know we have made a very, very good impact in the lives of these students. It's very important to have summer programs. We decided to do the math, language arts, and so forth, something different than the usual, that's arts and sports, no? Because we have realized as teachers, we have been in the classroom for the past year after COVID, that a lot of students are staying behind, especially in their reading. So we decided, you know what, to give our time and let's just help students. That's it.
Today's closing ceremony included special presentations by local stakeholders, including Oceana and the National Commission for Families and Children. Today, there are 1.2 billion young people aged 15 to 24 years, accounting for 16% of the global population. This is why the United Nations set aside August 12th as a day when the world will be celebrating International Youth Day. One organization that is building the momentum is Youth for You Foundation in Orange Walk. The young volunteer organization says that youth can be a positive force for development when provided with the knowledge and opportunities they need to thrive. This is why they are raising funds in order to alleviate some of the burden related to back to school.
Youth for You Foundation, we are committed to building and nurturing the social needs of the Belizean youth. This is why our main priority this year was to provide them with the necessary materials for them to have a well-rounding learning experience. We know that education influences a person's talents, attitudes, and beliefs, as well as the norms and values that in a given society. It is what determines what they will pursue, objectives they will pursue, the structures they build in a society, in a community, and as well how they will contribute to the national and international progression. This is why we decided to do our annual back to school campaign. This is our third year doing this campaign, and the theme for this year was chasing knowledge. We did many fundraisers in order to help sponsor 6 high school students with school bags, school supplies, and we're still trying to raise funds to hopefully be able to give them a new uniform and a school shoes. We have chosen the students based on their needs and on merit. So since most of our members, they are high school students and they are active in their high school, they have helped by speaking with the teachers and actually interacting with these students to find out who would be in most need of our assistance, and that is how we chose them. And we know that our efforts and our supplies is going to someone who truly needs it and will benefit greatly from it.
In order for the Chasing Knowledge program to be a success, the organization has also embarked on a walkathon schedule for this Saturday.
We did send out letters to stakeholders in the community to try to get their sponsorship, but as a group, we tried to do our best to raise the funds on our own. So this is where we organized and executed 4 fundraisers. The first one being our back to school grand raffle, where we're gonna raffle a grand hamper this Saturday, actually August 5th, and each member was out there selling their raffle tickets. Then we planned a bake sale, which took place this Saturday at the Family Fun Day Expo at People's Stadium. Then this Saturday, August 5th, we will be having our last fundraiser, which will be the culmination of the entire campaign, which is our Back to School Chasing Knowledge Walkathon. We are still taking registration from people. If you'd like to pre-register for this walk, we have the link provided there in the flyer. This walk will be held on August 5th at 6 a.m. Meetup spot is at Park, and the route will be all throughout town limits. We are also selling exclusive T-shirts with our logo, and it says Chasing Knowledge. We are charging $25 for a shirt, and if you'd like to donate more, that is greatly appreciated since these funds are going towards our campaign to sponsor the kids. This shirt was actually sponsored by Print Life Belize, a printing shop here in Orange Walk. I have the route. We will meet up at Park, and it will move from Park at 6 a.m. We will go down Queen Victoria Avenue until we reach San Antonio Road. There we will walk straight to the left and go up Dunn Street. When we reach Cinderella Street, we will walk until we reach back to Ochobenque Road. We will go up the Hospital Crescent and then down Main Street until we reach back to Central Park. So it's not a long route. It is a great morning workout for those who are interested in in their health. And it is for a worthy cause. You will be out there showing your support to the entire Back to School campaign. The community will see your support, and most importantly, the kids will be able to see who all contributed to their education and who all actually care for them, because that's one of our main things as well. Our main priorities is to show them that they're not alone, that we have a wonderful community that always comes together and helps to reach their needs.
Backpacks and scholar utensils will be delivered to students on August 12, 2023 to commemorate International Youth Day. And the organization is recruiting, so if you have interest, you may want to reach out, bearing in mind it is volunteer and you must be at least 12 years old. The foundation can be reached through their social media pages, or you can call telephone number 624-9655 to learn more about how you can be involved. And that's news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, August 4th here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/Ctv3 Facebook.com/Ctv3 Belize News or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.